Hey, would you look at that? I'm on. Hey, what's going on, guys? Cosmo here. How are you? Well, I hope. Hopefully fantastic or something of that nature. Anyways, I'm about to show you some infected gameplay, and of course, over that duration of the gameplay, I'm gonna show you a few, or I guess tell you a few strategies on how to do better on infected. It is one of the most played game modes out there right now, and of course, it is pretty fun. So I guess I can jump right into it about the topics that I'm going to talk about. So I think the number one thing that we do as soon as you start infected is you look at your opposing enemy or whoever is close to you and basically aim down the sights and try to kill them that way, because typically every now and then they do tend to be infected, or you might be the one that gets infected. So you want to get that first shot off, which is good. Another thing I recommend to do is to actually look at the mini map in the top left corner, because even though the person in front of you might not be infected, someone around you might be infected as well. And that happens quite often, actually, so you'd be surprised and you could just run over there and kill that person. Also, another strategy that I like using is to strafe constantly. Whenever you're moving side to side, the enemy is less likely to hit you with a throwing knife versus if you stand still. And then, of course, if you are infected, try to aim the throwing knife ahead of that person. Don't throw it exactly where they're at in that position, unless they're not moving at all. Because I see that a lot. A lot of people try to throw a throwing knife, and it's always behind them. And, of course, if you throw it in front of them, they're more likely to run into it. Kind of like if you're a quarterback and you throw a football to a wide receiver who's running like a fly route or something. If you throw ahead of them, they're most likely to hit it versus if you throw it at the position they are whenever you throw the ball. If that makes any sense, I don't know if I'm rambling or not, but I think you get the point. I feel like I'm forgetting something. What else is there? Oh, so whenever you're one of the last few people on infected, I would say constantly keep moving. Don't trap yourself in a corner. I see a lot of people do that. They see a whole swarm of people coming at them, and they just kind of back into a corner, and eventually they'll die, and it kind of sucks. So always kind of keep your options open. Always make sure there's an additional outlet to where you can go to without, getting killed, and hopefully you can escape from that. And keep your streak open, and hopefully drop a Moab. Yeah, so I ran into this room just because I saw at least two people in here that are not infected yet, and I figure they're still holding off this little corridor. So I'm just waiting it out a little bit. I'm waiting for them to run through the front door because they typically do run through there, and I'm head glitching behind this little sofa. And that's also another thing I'm gonna cover in a different video. But in the meantime, so I'm just head glitching here and basically waiting it out until I feel like it's getting too heavy. Too many people running through there, and I just kind of leave. And after that, that's also another thing I try to do. Always keep your options open. There's that front door, and then there's the door that was, of course, I guess there's two entrances to that little building. So always trying to have another option, just so you can't get trapped in there. That would have been very upsetting if I would have died by that. Luckily, I was the first one to throw a knife in that situation. So I do get the Moab, and of course I'm still running around a little bit, and eventually I do die by a throwing knife. But I still tend to do pretty good. I finished the game with like a 41 and 1 death, and I actually have a game-winning kill. So yeah, I have a few more videos coming up, guys. If you have any suggestions, leave them in the comment box below. And if you like what you see, leave a like, and of course subscribe. And of course, like I said, I got a lot more coming. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch y'all later.